Vihara is the Sanskrit and Pali term for a Buddhist monastery. It originally meant a secluded place in which to walk, and referred to dwellings or refuges used by wandering monks during the rainy season. The northern Indian state of Bihar derives its name from the word Vihara due to the abundance of Buddhist monasteries in that area. The word Vihara has also been borrowed in Malay, where it is spelled biara and denotes a monastery or other non-Muslim place of worship. In Thailand and China, Vihara has a narrow meaning, and designates a small shrine hall or retreat house. It is called a wihan in Thai, and a vihara in Khmer. In Burmese, Vihara means monastery, but the native Burmese word kyong is preferred. Origins. In the early decades of Buddhism, the wandering monks of the Sangha, dedicated to asceticism and a monastic life, had no fixed abode. During the rainy season they stayed in temporary shelters. These dwellings were simple wooden constructions of thatched bamboo huts. However, as it was considered an act of merit not only to feed a monk but also to shelter him, sumptuous monasteries were created by rich lay devotees. They were located near settlements, close enough for begging alms from the population but with enough seclusion to not disturb meditation. Trade routes were therefore ideal locations for a vihara, and donations from wealthy traders increased their economic strength. For the 1st century CE onwards, viharas also developed into educational institutions, due to the increasing demands for teaching in Mahayana Buddhism. In the 2nd century BCE, a standard plan for a vihara was established. It could be either structural, which was more common in the south of India, or rock-cut like the Chaityagrihas of the Deccan. It consisted of a walled quadrangular court, flanked by small cells. The front wall was pierced by a door. The side facing it in later periods often incorporated a shrine for the image of the Buddha. The cells were fitted with rock-cut platforms for beds and pillows. The unwanted rock was excavated, leaving the carved cave structure. This basic layout was still similar to that of the communal space of an ashrama ringed with huts in the early decades of Buddhism. As permanent monasteries became established, the name Vihara was kept. Some viharas became extremely important institutions, some of them evolving into major Buddhist universities with thousands of students, such as Nalanda. Life in viharas was codified early on. It is the object of a part of the Pali Canon, the Vinaya Pitaka, or basket of monastic discipline. Buddhist vihara, a monastery, is an important form of institution associated with Buddhism. It may be defined as a residence for monks, a center for religious work and meditation, and a center of Buddhist learning. Reference to 5 kinds of dwellings, namely Vihara, Adha Yoga, Pasada, Hamya and Gua, is found in the Buddhist canonical texts as fit for monks. Of these, only the Vihara and Gua have survived. In Punjabi, an open space inside a home is also called Vera. History. The earliest Buddhist rock-cut cave abodes and sacred places are found in the western Deccan dating back to the 3rd century BC. These earliest rock-cut caves include the Badger Caves, the Kala Caves, and some of the Ajanta Caves. Relics found in these caves suggest an important connection between the religious and the commercial, as Buddhist missionaries often accompanied traders on the busy international trading routes through India. Some of the cave viharas and chaitayas, commissioned by wealthy traders, included pillars, arches, reliefs and facades while trade boomed between the Roman Empire and Southeast Asia. Epigraphic, literary and archaeological evidence testify to the existence of many Buddhist viharas in Bengal and Bihar from the 5th century AD to the end of the 12th century. These monasteries were generally designed in the old traditional Kushana pattern, a square block formed by 4 rows of cells along the 4 sides of an inner courtyard. They were usually built of stone or brick. As the monastic organization developed, they became elaborate brick structures with many adjuncts. Often they consisted of several stories, and along the inner courtyard there usually ran a veranda supported on pillars. In some of them a stupa, a shrine with a dais, appeared. Within the shrine stood the icon of Buddha, Bodhisattva, or Buddhist female deities. More or less the same plan was followed in building monastic establishments in Bengal and Bihar during the Gupta and Pala Empire period. In course of time, monasteries became important centers of learning. At the age of Mauryan Emperor Ashoka the Great, the Mahalbodhi temple was built in the form of Vihara. An idea of the plan and structure of some of the flourishing monasteries may be found from the account of Shanzang, who referred to the head monastery of Posipo, situated about 6.5 kilometers west of the capital city of Pundravarthana. The monastery was famous for its spacious halls and tall chambers. General Cunningham identified this vihara with Basu Vihara. Huinsang also noticed the famous Lotamogai Vihara near Karnasuvana. The site of the monastery has been identified at Rangamati. A number of smaller monastic blocks are arranged on a regular plan, with other adjuncts, like shrines, stupas, pavilions etc., have been excavated from the site. One of the earliest viharas in Bengal was located at Bihar. The plan of the monastery was designed on an ancient pattern, i.e. rows of cells round a central courtyard. The date of the monastery may be ascribed to the Gupta period, as the Buddhist ideology encouraged identification with trade. Monastic complexes became stopovers for inland traders and provided lodging houses that were usually located near trade routes. As the mercantile and royal endowments grew, cave interiors became more elaborate, with interior walls decorated with beautiful paintings, exquisite reliefs and intricate carvings. Elaborate facades were added to the exteriors as the interiors became designated for specific uses as monasteries and worship halls. Over the centuries, simple caves began to resemble three-dimensional buildings, formally designed and requiring highly skilled artisans and craftsmen to complete, as in the Ellora caves. The highly skilled artisans never forgot their timber roots and imitated the nuances of a wooden structure and the wood grain. Mahaviharas of the Pala era. A range of monasteries grew up during the Pala period in ancient Magadha and Bengal. According to Tibetan sources, 5 great Mahaviharas stood out. Vikramashila, the premier university of the era, Nalanda, past its prime but still illustrious, Somapura, Odamtapura, and Jagadala. The 5 monasteries formed a network. All of them were under state supervision, and there existed a system of coordination among them. It seems from the evidence that the different seats of Buddhist learning that functioned in eastern India under the Pala were regarded together as forming a network, an interlinked group of institutions, and it was common for great scholars to move easily from position to position among them. Other notable monasteries of Pala period were Trikuta, Navikota, and Pandita Vihara. Excavations jointly conducted by Archaeological Survey of India and University of Burdwan in 1971, 1972 to 1974, 1975 yielded a Buddhist monastic complex at Monorampur, near Bharatpur via Panagar Bazaar in the Burdwan district of West Bengal. The date of the monastery may be ascribed to the early medieval period. Recent excavations at Chigvanpur revealed another Buddhist monastery of the 9th century. Nothing of the superstructure has survived. A number of monastic cells facing a rectangular courtyard have been found. A notable feature is the presence of circular corner cells. It is believed that the general layout of the monastic complex at Jaggivanpur is by and large similar to that of Nalanda. Beside these, scattered references to some monasteries are found in epigraphic and other sources. Among them Pulahari, Halud Vihara, Parikramana Vihara and Yashavamapura Vihara deserve mention. Other important structural complexes have been discovered at Mainamati. Remains of quite a few viharas have been unearthed here, and the most elaborate is the Shalvin Vihara. The complex consists of a fairly large vihara of the usual plan of 4 ranges of monastic cells round the central court, with a temple in cruciform plan situated in the center. According to a legend on a seal, the founder of the monastery was Bhavadeva, a ruler of the Deva dynasty. Image gallery.